Hey yo, what's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of that boy, ETV. You already know, man. We are back on Marvel Rivals, and you know what's kind of crazy, man? Over like the last week or so, that I've been hearing a lot, especially with a lot of other YouTubers or people that put out commentaries, and it's been a very big topic in the community lately, and that is that of the triple support meta. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I've been seeing a whole bunch of videos talking about, oh, how this new meta is going to ruin the game and yada, 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 right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, what do they mean new meta? Like, triple support meta is not new by any means in the game. It's been around, I think, since like season 2-ish or something like that. So for them to be putting out videos talking about how, oh, new triple support meta ruining the game just doesn't make sense. Now, maybe they're more referring not to the actual game plan itself, which is, having the three supports, but maybe it's more along the lines of the characters that people are now using. But in general, the idea of a triple support meta has always been around. Two real healers and then basically a DPS healer. You know what I'm saying? That whole concept has been around for a while. So I just find it really weird that a lot of people are sitting here saying that, this new meta is going to ruin the game. And again, is it because of people are actually running out of actual things to talk about that now we're kind of rehashing old topics or bringing up old things that were once relevant? Like, we all know that triple support meta is a thing. It's been around for a while. So why are we having these videos? Unless, again, in my opinion, it's more along the lines of trying to bait people into wanting to read your thing, a clickbait title. Oh, new meta ruins game. That's something that might get someone to pick it. And then when you're sitting there watching the video, they're talking about a triple support meta that you've probably been playing against off and on, since, again, like I said, about season 2-ish or so. Now, I will say maybe it's because now we have a lot more the DPS healers like Mantis, Ultron, Jeff. They're a lot better. They've gotten better over time, and with the buffs that they've received, maybe that's why people are now talking about the triple support meta again. But ultimately, even without the buffs, the triple support meta, I think, still would have existed. I mean, it was existing before. I just think now they've just made the DPS healers a little bit better. So maybe that's what all the hoopla is truly about and really, people are getting at. But again, the triple support meta is not new by any means, and it's kind of crazy that I'm seeing videos of people saying and seeing, again, if the title says new meta is ruining Marvel Rivals and you're talking about triple support, I don't see how that's a new meta, right? It's just been in the game forever. So, and it's kind of crazy that we're talking now about the triple support because it's kind of rolling to the next topic here that I have, and that's going to be, should the game introduce role queue? Now, for me, when it comes to hero shooters, my history in hero shooters is I was a Paladins player. Paladins is the game that first introduced me into hero shooter genre, and I loved it in general. That game did not have role queue, so I'm not aware of how that really plays out. Now, I do know that the main competitive of Paladins, which was Overwatch, they did have role queue at some point, and I don't really know how that community felt about that, as I was never a part of it. But I can see the pros and cons to having role queue. The cons, right? One of the bad things is you're not going to have any unique style of comps, right? Like, so your comps will always be locked into what I'm assuming would be 2-2-2. So you won't ever see any unique comps if you're playing in competitive play. But again, if you're in the higher levels of competitive play, how often do you really see unique comps opposed to more meta or common comps that you would probably see? You know what I'm saying? Once you get higher in the ranks, more and more people tend to use certain characters due to them just being better in general. So a con, like I said, would be the lack of uniqueness when it comes to overall team comps. You won't have that anymore. Also, you will find it hard to be able, now you won't also be able to have people swap mid-game. So let's say someone role queues in as a DPS and is having a bad game. There is no, okay, let me switch to healer and try to still, bring some value to the team, because with role queue, you're going to be stuck as that DPS. So there is no interchanging of roles as well. That's also another con, in my opinion, when it comes to this. So again, there are downsides to role queue that are very apparent and very warranted too. Like, don't get me wrong, these are very warranted factors. Now for pros, right, some of the pro things about it is you will end up with teammates that actually want to play every single role. So if you queue up in the tank role, I know if we have role queue, when the teams get put together, I know that my tank actually wants to be a tank. I know that they're actually going to want to play that. I also know that the support person is also actually going to want to play support, because how many times have we been queuing up for a comp game, and next thing you know, someone gets thrown into a role they really don't want to play, or they're not really good at, and now we're out here losing or getting smacked because people are in roles that don't fit them, or they're in their feelings because now they're in roles that they particularly don't want to play. So role queue would actually fix that. And again, to me, that's very important, especially if you're like a solo player and you're playing and you're trying to grind through. One of the things that probably piss you off the most when you're getting him in these randoms, and then you have that random that thinks he's a flex player, but for some odd reason we all know he's not, and then he waits till the end and then gets mad when he's forced to play a role that he doesn't want to play, right? And then again, speaking of playing roles that people don't want to play, and why role queue might become more and more of a bigger issue in the game, is because why is it that even whether it's quick play or if it's comp, man, why is it that nobody ever wants to play tank or even willing to switch to it? Now, I've been playing a little bit more quick play than comp, but I see this in both versions of the game that I play. Now, when I was in quick play, I went into a game and I was actually doing one of the missions where I had to play a strategist. So I'm coming in playing as a healer, right? So I come in, I insta-queue Invisible Woman, because I'm trying to get the Lord icon on her. So I have Invisible Woman, the other person comes in, the first person comes in as a DPS, and then followed up with a Cloak and Dagger. So I'm like, cool, we got the supports down, right? Why is it that the next 3 motherfuckers all pick goddamn DPS? So then before we even load in, I put into the chat, I'm like, hey, we need a tank, bruh. Why don't we need a tank? Someone needs to be a tank. One of our DPS go tank. Like, why don't we have that? And for some odd reason, we literally go the entire game without a tank. We end up losing domination. We had to go through 2 rounds of this crap. And I'm talking about even after the first round, we got shellacked, I still go in there and say, hey, we need a tank. I can't switch the tank because I'm playing healer. So there's only 2 healers. If I switch off healer, now we'll have 1 tank, 1 healer, and 4 DPS, which still don't make sense. Why can nobody play Vanguard, play tank? Are people just allergic to the role? Do people not like the role? Personally, I like playing Magneto. Magneto's fun. Emma's fun. Captain America's fun. Penny's fun. The Hulk is fun. There's a multitude of players that are really fun. But again, people think that just like healers, people that play Vanguard are like not skillful, or all they're there to do is block damage. Like, it's crazy, man. I don't get it. To me, the 2 hardest roles, in my personal opinion, is probably tank and healer. Healer being the hardest because you have to protect yourself and the team, and while keeping everybody healed. Then you have the tank, who has to sometimes protect the healers, create space, hold space. They have to do things like that. While DPS, your main job is to just go out and get kills. Now, if you're a good DPS player, you understand taking off angles, this, that, and the third. But again, you have the simplest of jobs. Get kills. Get kills, take off angles. That's pretty much all you really have to do as a DPS player. But as the other 2, you have more than just getting kills. You have to do other things as well. So it does take skill to play these roles, man. But let me know how y'all feel, man. How do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about people saying that the triple support meta is something new to the game, especially with it being around for so long? What is y'all overall thoughts on a role queue and it being added to the game? And also, have y'all been having issues finding randoms or just players in general that want to play tank on your team? Let me know down in them comments, and let's get a conversation started, man. But until then, I'm gonna leave y'all off with the rest of this gameplay here in the background, and I hope y'all enjoy that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoyETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.
Is that the skin I was wearing? So when you pick the MVP screen, right? Does it give you the MVP screen